Production support for the weekly special is provided by IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement. The Al Cobain Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobain to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you.
This month, Indianapolis will host the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500.
And it's no coincidence that the greatest spectacle in racing evolved right here in Indiana. Explore the history of car manufacturing across the Hoosier Heartland. Meet the young men and women racing to build the automobiles of the future. Discover the youngest racing enthusiasts going for glory. And journey to the fastest and smallest tracks across the state. Learn how the love of speed extends far beyond the Speedway.
Right now on the weekly special.
Hello, I'm Erica Sagone.
And I'm Daryl Neer. For decades, Indiana was the center of the automobile industry, with cars manufactured in over 40 cities across the state. And the Speedway provided an excellent proving ground to showcase the height of Hoosier achievement.
Over 100 million gears are spinning over the roads in the transmissions of our automobiles. The engine on this model is running at a constant speed of 90 revolutions a minute.
The history of the Auburn Automobile Company started with the Eckhart family, who founded a carriage building business here in the town of Auburn in 1874. The carriage company was somewhat successful, and around about the turn of the 20th century, they became aware of a new invention, the horseless carriage, that might have a great impact on their business. So they took a look at the manufacture of the Auburn Automobile, which they came up with in 1903. They achieved a fair amount of success with the car, enough to encourage the company to build a plant dedicated solely to the production of the automobile. The company had a tremendous impact on Northeast Indiana. At one time, the company employed over 1,000 people in this area. Smaller companies sprouted up around the bigger company to supply parts and services. Before World War I, there were 10 other automobile companies in this town that produced cars as well. So this area was becoming known as Little Detroit for a while, just because of its automobile manufacturing centers.
With the passing of Mr. Eckert in 1915 and the country on the verge of an economic recession following World War I, cars simply stopped selling. Desperate to keep the company alive, investors turned to renowned car enthusiast E.L. Cord. Cord made a unique offer. He'd work for the company with no pay, as long as he had the ability to buy stocks and could take a percent of the profits. In the summer of 1924, Cord started at Auburn. By November of 1925, he owned it.
Once E.L. Cord took over, the sales of Auburn automobiles just grew exponentially, and he was quite successful. Successful enough, he introduced another line of cars, the Cord automobile, the first successful front-wheel drive car, and he also purchased the floundering Duesenberg company from Indianapolis and charged them with the challenge of building America's most grand and most luxurious automobile, the fabulous Model J Duesenberg.
Though relatively small, the impact they had on the automobile industry was astounding. The company introduced many innovations still utilized today, including X-member frames, retractable headlights, four-wheel hydraulic brakes, and the ever-popular supercharged engines. Not only did they change the way cars were built in the U.S., they changed the car industry across the world, exporting to 99 different countries in its height.
The Auburn Automobile Company reached its zenith in 1931 when they produced over 33,000 automobiles. This was enough to put Auburn at number 13 among all United States manufacturers, which was quite significant in those days when you consider there were about 50 manufacturers. Auburn-Cord was once quoted as saying, "A conquered challenge is no longer any fun." And he had felt as if he had come to the town of Auburn, taken an ailing company, turned it around, made it extremely successful, and now it was time for him to move on to other challenges. When he left the town of Auburn, the company was never the same.
That year would be the last the company took a profit. By 1937, faced with the looming Great Depression, it was over. The doors closed on the Auburn Automobile Company and Duesenberg, where they remained closed until 1974.
The Auburn-Cord Duesenberg Automobile Museum is the only automobile museum that is located in the original factory headquarters building. Sometimes we hear people say, even if this place didn't have cars in it, it would be interesting to come here just because of its structure. We have approximately 120 cars on exhibit. Some of the cars are one of a kind. They may be prototype or in some cases recreation of famous show cars. Many of our cars have celebrity owners. Every one of them has a story behind them. The 20s and 30s are known as the golden age of the classic automobiles. Many of these cars are hand-built, one of a kind. Unlike today's automobiles that are pretty much all the same, look the same, these are the ones that have the artistic glamour. There just wasn't anything like it then, and there's very little like it today. We like to think of this place as a time machine. It just takes you back to a different era. The building itself, the contents, and what you see reminds us all of what made this country great and what was accomplished all those 75, 80 years ago or more in the way of industry.
For more information on how to visit the Auburn-Cord Duesenberg Museum, visit automobilemuseum.org.
Well, Duesenberg wasn't the only Indiana manufacturer to achieve international acclaim. The Studebaker company dominated the industry for more than 60 years.
What became the Studebaker Corporation started as H&C Studebaker, a blacksmith shop, in February of 1852. Brothers Henry and Clem opened a shop in downtown South Bend, which at that time was just a fledgling community on the shores of the St. Joseph River. Soon the company grew. Younger brother John M. Studebaker joined the firm in the late 1850s. Other brothers Peter and Jacob Studebaker joined up in the 1860s, and they now called themselves the Studebaker Brothers Manufacturing Company. By the turn of the 19th century, the Studebaker Brothers Manufacturing Company was the world's largest manufacturer of horse-drawn equipment. Studebaker entered the automobile market by basically marketing vehicles built by other companies. Studebaker had the worldwide dealer network, they had the name recognition. What they didn't have were facilities to build automobiles, so they purchased several companies, the largest being the EMF company of Detroit, Michigan. By this time, the Studebaker Corporation was really looking at getting out of the horse-drawn market in the late teens, but World War I intervened. It was still a war fought mainly with horse-drawn vehicles, so they kept producing a lot of equipment for World War I. But after the war ended, Studebaker, they knew the horse and buggy was on its way out, and they began overhauling the South Bend plant to produce automobiles and slowly began phasing out of Detroit in the 1920s. Studebaker was going great guns in the 1920s. Unfortunately, their leaders really underestimated the Great Depression. In 1933, Studebaker was broke and entered receivership. They were able to reorganize. They convinced the bankruptcy court judges that the best way to satisfy their creditors was to continue building automobiles. And the company was actually able to keep going, and by 1935 was back on the road to profitability. Once we get into the 30s and 40s, Studebaker was looking at styling as their calling card. They realized they didn't have the volume that the other manufacturers did. They had to produce a better product, a different product, something that would set themselves apart from the market. That formula really propelled them to their greatest heights in the late 40s and early 50s. And even today, those Studebaker automobiles are looked at icons of American automobile design. Weight is the enemy was one of their mantras. They wanted a very efficient automobile, but they also embraced really the aircraft styling theme, and that's reflected in Studebaker's bullet nose models of 1950. You know, there's a big old propeller sitting out on the front of the car, and it looks like just a World War II fighter airplane coming out of the sky. They looked to Europe a lot for inspiration, and that was a direct influence on Studebaker's masterpiece, the 1953 Starliner. It's probably best described as a jazz quintet amid a whole field of chamber music. It was low, it was rakish, it was half a foot lower than anything else on the market. It completely separated Studebaker from the rest of the industry, which was, very perpendicular and kind of boxy, and here the new streamlined Studebakers come out and everyone's going, wow, look what Studebaker did. Studebaker was trying to make it on 4% of the market when GM was selling, 45% of the market. Studebaker just did not have the resources to compete at that level, and unfortunately, we're not able to compete past the 1960s. Studebaker's closing was a devastating blow to the community, and there's no two ways about it. It was probably the single most tragic occurrence in the history of South Bend. 7,000 employees were basically thrown out of work 2 weeks before Christmas in 1963. But the community did respond. And by 1966, unemployment was back at pre-closing levels. And if you look at South Bend today and the strengths it brought, that was really tested by Studebaker's closing. And I think the community came out much stronger for it. And even today, there's 3 degrees of separation, it seems, from Studebaker at almost anything you point to in this town. Hospitals, churches, parks. The automobiles aren't being built here anymore, but Studebaker is very much a part of South Bend's cultural fabric. The Studebaker National Museum's collection includes everything from some of the most popular Studebaker vehicles made to one-of-a-kind show cars, prototypes, and other vehicles you're never going to see anywhere else because there's only one of them. Some people will say, oh, my first car was a Studebaker, my parents had Studebakers. Others are just learning about Studebakers for the first time and think they're cool cars. There's so many different ways for people to experience the Studebaker story. We're just delighted that many of them come by and do so. We're just a short drive away.
To get the latest information on exhibits and upcoming events, visit StudebakerMuseum.org.
Well, Hoosiers across the state are still at the forefront of technological advancement, looking for breakneck speeds in new environments.
The competition is to measure the fuel economy. They measure the weight of the fuel tank by itself before the run and measure the weight of the tank after the run. The difference corresponds to the amount of fuel that you've consumed.
If you actually look at the car, it looks like a giant airfoil, which is the profile of an airplane wing. Some of these teams are trying to sneak underneath the air, and our car is actually going through the air while replacing the air from where we got it from.
The kids here, of course, trying to get the most miles per gallon. Now, to get into this competition, they had to submit a proposal back in January. And that proposal had to cover all the scientific, technical aspects and design aspects of their car.
Each year, you have to make some significant change to the car. And then we talk about all the changes that we might want to incorporate from the previous year. And then the proposal attempts to document that and predicts any additional new fuel calculations that we might because of those changes. So it ends up being hundreds of hours in preparation time, but it's spread out over many months.
They had to have drawings. They had to discuss aerodynamic drag. They had to discuss side forces, rolling friction, anything that has to do with a car on a track. They had to cover in their proposal.
Hopefully we get a high fuel mileage up there near 1,000. And one way to do that is turning off and on the engine at certain points and having our driver stay as close to the inside as possible. We continue doing that until we get to 10 laps. We actually joke that we want the car to turn orange on one side because it keeps hitting the orange cones.
I'm just glad to see kids having a good time and learning something in the process.
To learn more about the Super Mileage Challenge as well as other initiatives by the technology educators of Indiana, visit their website, indianaetei.com.
And there's no better place to go the distance than at the Wilbur Shaw Soap Box Derby Hill, the nation's longest track in the country.
The winning lane is 1 with a time of 0.0.
The Soap Box Derby was started in the 30s, but what's important about Indianapolis is that we've had a race every year that there's been a Soap Box Derby race. We have had a race without interruption. And Indianapolis is only one of 3 cities that have their own dedicated track. The sport was very, very popular until the early 70s. And since then, the Indianapolis and the All-American Soap Box Derby all over the United States has sort of struggled financially. But even though that has been a problem, there's still people that just keep coming back and keep coming back. And I meet people who, their parents were in it. It's a family sport. The whole family gets involved in it. And that's what's a great part. And the kids learn so much. You don't drop them off and then come back and pick them up. You have to be there participating. They're not only involved just for them individually, but they're involved with their brothers, their sisters. Cleo had 5 kids racing. Wow. Now he is family, plural.
But to me, my family's always been close. So this is the way we come out on the weekend and be close together. And so that's why we try to get more families involved in it.
I was looking for something to do with my oldest son. He wasn't into baseball and football and that, but I wanted to do something with him, and so that's how we got into this. And then all my kids and my grandkids have been in it. My granddaughter is racing today for her first time to race. We've been practicing this last month. We got her car ready, and she's a little nervous. So when she comes down the hill, be careful. You know where she's going. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandpa built the car, and my dad helped me pick the stickers. I really don't like waking up early, but my favorite part of racing is going fast.
The kids learn so much. They learn about relationships. We have such a diversified group of people that race here. They learn teamwork.
That's the most important thing out here, teamwork. All the kids work together.
From listening to the parents and what we have to figure out, making sure everything in the car is aligned and adjusted just perfect. They get to be very detail-oriented.
Kids learn about the cars, how to get the cars fine-tuned in.
I joined Derby racing because they came to my school and advertised it, so I joined to see what it was about, and it was fun, and I liked it. My mom helps me build my car. The best part about racing is just winning and having fun.
It's beneficial to our family because it brings us together. It's a common goal. Even during the week where the kids, they'll be thinking about what can make the car go faster, you know. When you're home, you're thinking Derby all the time.
All the time. Like. We constantly thinking Derby. Keep the family together. That's all they do is here when you come out here. Family stays together.
Get the latest news and race schedules at IndianapolisSoapBoxDerby.com.
Well, from the longest track in the state to the smallest, even in miniature size, speed is still key.
When people come into the store, they'll see somebody running, they go over and look at them, and then they're shocked at how fast the cars are actually running. When you tell somebody a little car that fits in your hand is running 50 miles an hour around the track, they're just stunned. Our fastest pass down the drag strip was actually 115 miles an hour. That's literally the speed of a car. If you went out and got in your car, went to 100 miles an hour, that's how fast that car is running. If you times it by 24 to the scale model, you're well over 2,400 scale mile an hour, which is crazy numbers.
With cars that can travel over 100 feet in only 3 seconds, the difference between a win and a loss happens in a blink of an eye. Each track features 8 lanes marked by a singular color. The car with the most laps at the end wins.
For the commercial side of it, where you have cars at home, there's magnets that hold the cars on. You pretty much squeeze the trigger, the cars run around, you don't do a whole lot. For our cars here, it's just the grip of the rear tires that holds the car on. The skill level is mainly on how to throttle in and out of turns. If you go into a turn, you're holding the trigger wide open, it's going to go straight to the wall. If you crash, you're off anywhere between 1 to 3, 4 seconds. So when you crash, you can lose a lap. So you have to learn where to let off, how fast you can get back in it, just like you would a gas pedal at a real racetrack. So there's more of a skill to it than just holding the trigger. Practice is the key. You need to be in at least once or twice a week to really stay toward the top.
And it's not just a skillful trigger finger that helps racers succeed. Weighing between 80 and 150 grams, the cars feature a metal frame chassis with axles, gears, and motors. It's easy enough for novices and low budget enough for entire families to join in on the fun.
We get a lot of father and daughters, father and sons, grandparents bring grandkids in. They get on a track, and even though there's that big of an age difference, they have fun running together. So it spans a whole generation to 2 generations of 3 that can have fun doing the exact same thing. And the kids love it because they might be good enough to outrun the grandfather, and they feel really special with it. And it's just fun that way.
I started racing slot cars when I was a kid in the mid-60s. My dad and I started doing this, and we did that for 5 or 6 years. It was a lot of fun. And then the cars sat in the closet at my mom's house for decades. And about 10 years ago, my oldest daughter, Margaret, pulled the cars out and said, "Dad, what are these?" I started explaining to her, found Fast Eddie's here, and we came over, and it just snowballed from there. We had so much fun. We started buying more and more cars. We actually designed and built some cars for ourselves, and it's good for the girls. They learn engineering and mechanic skills by doing this. Now that Margaret's off to college, Julia and I come over as often as we can to race cars. It's just a good time to be together.
It's something to bond together over, and you can do it with anyone actually. It's just relaxing. And if you had a bad day or something, it'll cool you off. You have to concentrate when you do it, and so it takes your mind off of other things.
Now you do a video game, there's 1 or 2 guys there, or you're racing online against somebody you never met. Within here, you can actually be right together, having a good time. Everybody wants to have fun talking how good they are, they're gonna beat you. Same thing with any type of race. It's a little trash talk, but it's all in jest. It's just good time. You know, it's fairly inexpensive, and it's something that everybody can enjoy.
Fast Eddie's welcomes new racers. Find out how you can participate at fasteddiesworldofspeed.com.
Well, whether it be speed or science, family fun, or a friendly competition, there is an Indiana track for you.
I think the thing I like most about RC racing is the realism behind it. Even though you're not sitting in the car driving it, when you watch that car driving around and the way you have to steer it and drive it and throttle it and everything, it's just like a real car. You actually almost get transported. You don't even realize that you're just sitting there playing with toy cars. You're actually competing and racing against other guys.
Whenever I race, I get on the driver's stand and we're getting ready to start a race, and I get hot. I start to get a little sweaty, and one guy told me once, he goes, "It's hot inside that car, isn't it?" I'm like, well, I'm not inside that car, but you feel like you are. You know, when you've got a vehicle coming at you at 60 miles an hour and you got to make a decision, left, right, or stop, and you got a couple seconds to do that, it's got to get a little rush going, you know.
It's just like a real race car. You got all these different adjustments. You got shock oils, you got gearing changing. Your batteries kind of control your power along with your radio transmitters, your controllers. So every week guys are fine-tuning their trucks, just like NASCAR, IndyCar. Every track they go to, they have to change their setup. It's just like that here. It changes week to week. So guys are constantly changing their trucks to be more competitive.
It's actually a lot more difficult than initially you might think. To get competitive, you need to have a lot of time practicing, and then the other fun thing is that you have to understand sort of the basic physics of how a car suspension works, and you learn how to set up the cars to handle differently.
For me, it's as much about working on the truck and getting the setup right as it is about the racing and being competitive. And every single person in here is willing to help you, talk about how they set their truck up, the tips they have, and then a lot of it really just coming in here putting a lot of laps on. I'm sure just like the real racing, practice, practice, practice.
Once somebody tries it and they see what it's really about and they see the competition behind it, so once somebody gets a taste of that, they're thrilled. It's like they won the Indy 500.
I'm sure you've heard it for IndyCar racing, with NASCAR racing. It's a family event. It truly is. I mean, we've got mothers and fathers and grandfathers and grandkids, and they'll come here and they'll spend 4, 5, 6 hours here working on their cars, racing their cars. It's just great entertainment. There's an old saying too, it says any day at the racetrack's better than no day at the racetrack. So even if you didn't win today, you still had fun.
Ready to race? Find hours and directions to the track at indyrc.homestead.com.
Erica, somewhere in Indiana, there's a track for everyone.
Yep, and it was sure fun visiting a lot of them tonight. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Production support for the weekly special is provided by IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement. The Al Cobain Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobain to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you.